Hello mathematicians and welcome back to Circles, and today we're learning about arc lengths. So an arc length is talking about the outside of a circle, but pretend we only wanted a little piece. So for example, pretend we had the circle here and we just wanted this little piece right here. And we wanted to figure out how long is that piece? Well, luckily, like most things in math, we have a formula for this. So let's call this A for arc length, okay? So to figure out how long A is, we need two things. The first thing we need is the radius. So remember, the radius is a point that goes from the center to any outer point. So we need a radius, which I'll use with blue. And the second thing we need is a degree, the degree of the angle of the piece that we want to find. So right here, I wrote this funny little symbol called theta, and it's basically the number 0 with a line through it. Do not get freaked out, okay? Basically, what happened was that the mathematicians were like, we've been using X, Y, and Z and ABC too much. Let's switch it up with some Greek and throw in this letter. It's just a variable and it's just a placeholder, okay? So don't get freaked out. Anyways, continuing on, the formula for this is we get 2, we multiply it by pi because circles love pi, and then we're going to multiply it by our radius. I'm going to be using color here, okay? And then what we're going to do is we actually have to divide two values. We have to get the degree of our angle, which is theta, that Greek letter that we're not scared of, right? And we have to divide it by 360. And this is our formula, okay? Now let me break it down a little bit for you. So if you pay attention, 2 pi r sounds very familiar, right? This is the circumference. Remember back to like day 2, the circumference of a circle, the outside, has a formula and it's 2 pi r. Now this piece over here with the fraction, this is figuring out how much of the circle we're looking at. How much of circle. So to break down this formula, we get, remember that a circle is worth 360 degrees. So we're dividing it by what little piece we're looking at, right? So then that gives us a percentage or a fraction. And then we multiply that by the circumference. Because if you think about it, the arc length is just a small piece of the entire circle. So we're kind of using ratios here, but basically we have to use this formula. So I'm going to go ahead and do problem 1, and that is all you should need to be able to get through this. It's very simple. Stick to the formula. Okay. Round to the nearest 2 decimal places, okay? And use pi equals 3.14. Cool. You can also use a calculator. That is fine with me. So first problem. So looking at the formula, we have my arc length. So we're trying to find this large arc right here. You might be saying, how do I know I'm not looking for this one? Well, if you pay attention, they give us the degrees for this side. And this is what we're going to need. So we are indeed looking for this bigger part of the circle. So it's going to be 2 times pi times r. So what is our r here? What's our radius? Well, there goes this lovely number 12. So 12, and I'm going to put in parentheses. And then we're going to multiply it by how much the degree is in terms of our whole circle. So I'm going to use purple. I'm looking at 210 degrees, 210, and I'm dividing it by 360. Now remember, all these numbers are multiplying, okay? And there's many ways you can go about this. You could multiply these numbers first, and then this one. You could do this one first, and then this first, and the second, You could do this first, and then this second, this third. There's a lot of ways to do it. There's honestly no wrong answer as long as you're multiplying 210 by 360, okay? So I'm going to do the fraction first just because fractions freak me out and I hate them. So I'm going to do 2 pi, and I'm multiplying by 12, and now I'm going to do this part, okay? So if I bring out my handy dandy calculator, Okay, so I am doing 210 divided by 360. I'm going to round to the nearest tenths, okay? So that is 0.58. 0.58. And I'm also going to put this in parentheses. Now I can just multiply this whole thing out, okay? You can go piece by piece, but the good thing about the calculator is I could do it all in one go. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 times, where is pi? Pi is right there. Times 12 times 0.58. And that is my number. So my answer is, oops, let me turn this off real quick. 43.73 because I'm rounding to the nearest tenths place. And that is it. That is my arc length. So what this is saying right here, this 0.58, this decimal, it's saying that we're looking at about 0.58 of the entire circle. So we're looking about 58% of the circle. So we need to figure out what 58% is of our circumference because that gives us arc length. I just want you guys to understand the formula instead of throwing at you guys. So go ahead and try the rest of them out. Actually, I'm supposed to be writing this answer down here. If you have any questions, then holler at me. Bye.